Flames of decision, asterisk, the sky was orange with smoke. Trees burned. The ground shook. An alien starship had just exploded above Sector 14, near the edge of the human outpost. A single escape pod had crashed into the forest below straight into the fire. Sergeant Caleb Ross was standing on the watchtower when he saw it happen. The sky lit up like a second sun. He watched the pod spin out of control and vanish into the flames. Alarms rang across the base. Unknown craft, down. A voice shouted over the intercom. All units, hold position. Do not approach. But Caleb didn't move. He stared at the burning forest. Something didn't feel right. He could hear the fire crackling, the trees breaking, but, beneath all that, there was something else. A scream. It was faint, but it was real. He grabbed his helmet and ran. Sergeant, where are you going? A tech shouted from behind. Someone's in there. Caleb yelled back. It's alien, you'll die. But he didn't stop. He ran straight toward the fire. The heat was unbearable. Flames roared on both sides of the path. Smoke filled his lungs. The air was thick, choking, but still, he heard it again. The scream, closer now. He found the escape pod half buried in a ditch, metal glowing red from heat. The door was bent, sparks shooting from the edges. Through a crack, he saw movement. Hold on, he shouted. Caleb used his shoulder to break open the door. The heat burned his arms, even through his armor. Inside, he saw an alien woman, unconscious, pinned under metal. She was unlike anything he had ever seen. Her skin was soft purple, her face smooth and sharp. She had long black hair with silver streaks, and strange glowing tattoos on her neck, but she was alive, and she was burning. Without thinking, Caleb pulled the wreckage off her, lifted her into his arms, and turned back toward the outpost. The fire was spreading fast. Each step felt like walking through a furnace. His legs shook, his armor melted at the edges. The woman's skin was hot against his chest, but he held on. He stumbled, fell once, stood again. I've got you, he whispered, coughing hard. I've got you. At the edge of the base, medics rushed out. Get him out of there. Someone shouted. He's carrying something. A medic pulled the alien woman from his arms. Another grabbed Caleb before he collapsed. Asterisk, welcome to the Science of Fiction HFY Galaxy Tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story from HFY Galaxy Tales. Where humanity always finds a way. He's barely breathing. Hours later, Caleb woke in the medical bay. Bandages covered his arms and neck. His vision was blurry. A soft voice came from beside him. You saved me. He turned his head. The alien woman was sitting beside his bed. Her eyes were bright and clear, her voice calm and full of wonder. You jumped into fire, she said slowly. For me, Caleb tried to sit up. You were alive. I couldn't leave you. She leaned closer. But why? I am not human. He gave a weak smile. Doesn't matter. Life is life. She was silent for a moment. Then she said something that made his heart skip. In my people's law, if someone saves your life, your soul belongs to them. I owe you everything. Caleb blinked. You don't owe me anything. But she shook her head. The oath of the burned. 2 days had passed. Sergeant Caleb Ross sat alone under the shade of a repair tent. His skin still burned under the bandages. His arms were weak. He could barely lift a cup of water. But he was alive, and so was she. Across from him, the alien woman stood quietly. She had healed fast. Too fast for any human. Her skin was smooth again. Her movements calm and strong. Her strange tattoos glowed faintly in the sunlight, but her eyes stayed fixed on him. She hadn't left his side since the rescue. Every time he moved, she followed. Every time he spoke, she listened. Are you really going to keep staring at me? Caleb asked with a small grin. She stepped closer and answered without hesitation. Yes, until my life debt is complete. Caleb sighed. Look, Lyra, right. Yes, I didn't save you for this. I'm not looking for a servant. Lyra tilted her head. In my culture, it's not servitude. It is honor. I understand, Caleb said softly. But here, things are different. Lyra didn't reply at first. Then she looked at the burned skin on his arms, and said quietly, no one else ran into the fire. Only you. You didn't even know who I was. I knew someone was screaming, he said. That was enough. Later that evening, the base commander called for Caleb. He entered the command center slowly. Officers stood in silence. The main screen showed something disturbing: 3 red ships entering the system. Unknown markings. No human origin. Not Lyra's people either. Pirate raiders. Mercenaries, no one knew. What do they want? Caleb asked. The commander turned. We intercepted a signal. They're searching for a lost target, a Varellan diplomat. Caleb's eyes narrowed. Lyra, she was on a peace mission, the commander added. And now they're here too. Finish what they started. Caleb stood straight. We need to hide her. Get her off-world. It's too late, the commander said. They've already sent scouts. And they know your name, my name. Caleb asked. Yes, they're hunting you too. They know you rescued her. That night, Caleb sat in the quiet room with Lyra. The stars outside blinked peacefully, but war was coming. They're coming for you, he told her. And now, for me too. Lyra didn't look surprised. They failed to kill me in the fire, she said. Now they want to finish the task. You should leave, Caleb said. We can get you on a fast ship. You don't owe me anything anymore. Lyra stood. I gave you my oath, she said, stepping closer. I will not run. I will not hide. I will protect you, even if it costs me my life. He looked up at her, tired. You're serious about this? She nodded. You ran into fire for me. Now I walk into battle for you. Just before dawn, the first strike came. An explosion hit the outer wall of the base. Soldiers scrambled. Sirens screamed. Enemy scouts had landed. They weren't ordinary soldiers. These were assassins, blackmared fast, silent, and deadly. Their only target, Caleb Ross. He ran through the corridors, guiding medics and helping civilians escape. But the assassins were closing in. He turned a corner and froze. 3 masked warriors stood before him. He raised his rifle to slow. One leaped forward. Blade raised, then a blur of purple light struck from above. Lyra landed like thunder. She moved faster than the human eye could follow. Her blade sang as it cut through the assassins. Her fists cracked armor. Her eyes burned bright with power. Caleb could only watch. He had saved her from fire. And now she was a fire of her own. When the last assassin fell, Lyra turned to him bleeding, breathing heavy. You're safe, she whispered. Caleb stepped forward and caught her before she fell. You didn't have to do that, he said. I did, she whispered. I still do. No, I do, until my debt is repaid. I am yours, to protect. She placed her hand on her chest and bowed her head. I swear it, human. My life is now tied to yours. The fire repaid. The sky over the base turned dark with smoke. Enemy dropships hovered above, casting long shadows on the ground. Black armored assassins moved through the trees like ghosts. Their mission was clear: kill the human who rescued the alien diplomat. Kill Sergeant Caleb Ross. But Caleb was not hiding. He stood in the center of the courtyard. Blood on his sleeves, smoke in his lungs, his rifle empty. Beside him, Lyra stood tall, her long blade covered in black blood, her armor cracked, her arm bleeding. I told you to run, Caleb said, coughing. I told you I never would. Lyra answered. Around them, the last of the human guards had fallen back. The base was nearly lost. This was their final stand. You still think you owe me? He asked. Lyra turned to him. No, he blinked. Then why stay? She looked into his eyes. Because now, I want to. Before Caleb could speak again, the final wave came. Dozens of assassins charged forward, silent and fast. Caleb raised his fists. Lyra stepped in front of him. No, she said. This time, I protect you. What followed was not a battle, was a storm? Lyra moved like living fire, her body spinning, leaping, striking. Her tattoos glowed with every blow. Her blade danced with deadly grace. She didn't fight for honor, not for her oath. She fought for him. Caleb tried to cover her, using a fallen rifle, helping when he could, but he knew this was her moment, her fire, her choice. One by one, the enemy fell, but Lyra didn't come out untouched. A blade sliced her shoulder. A blast knocked her to her knees. She fell once but rose again. Then the last assassin stood, aiming a gun straight at Caleb's heart. Lyra saw it. She didn't hesitate. She dove forward straight into the path of the shot. The blast hit her in the back. She fell into Caleb's arms. No, he shouted. Her body was heavy, her breath shallow. I told you, she whispered, my life is yours. Caleb held her tightly, rage building in his chest. He picked up the fallen assassin's weapon and fired 1, 2, 3 times until the last enemy dropped. The silence that followed was sharp and painful. Minutes later, The emergency med team arrived. Caleb screamed for help. They rushed Lyra into the med bay, working quickly. Her pulse was weak, but still there. Caleb stood outside, blood on his hands, shaking. He had saved her once from the fire. She had saved him now from death. They were even. But to Caleb, it didn't feel like a debt anymore, it felt like something deeper. 3 days later, Lyra opened her eyes in the medical chamber. Her chest still ached, but her wounds had closed. Machines beeped softly around her. The first thing she saw was Caleb, sitting in the chair beside her, asleep. She reached out and touched his arm. He woke with a start. "Lyra, you stayed," she whispered. "I owed you," he said, smiling. She smiled back. "Then we're even." He shook his head. "No, we're not even. Not anymore." She raised a brow. "Then what are we?" He paused. "I don't know yet," he said, "but I know I don't want to lose you." She gently reached for his hand, and nodded. "Then don't." 1 week later, peace talks resumed between the human government and Lyra's people. The attack was blamed on a rogue mercenary group. Caleb and Lyra stood together at the meeting table, not as soldier and diplomat, but as partners. Their bond, born in fire, tested in battle, became the symbol of a new alliance. Not built by treaties or weapons, but by a single act of courage. A human who ran into flames, an alien who gave everything back. Final scene. Late one night, under the stars of a quiet world, Lyra looked at Caleb and said, "You changed my fate when you jumped into the fire." Caleb smiled. "And you changed mine when you pulled me out of one." They stood in silence. No more debt, no more war. Just something new. Something better.